Ladies and gentlemen, champions in the making, there's a mindset that separates the average from the unstoppable. That mindset is simple. I only see my goals. I don't believe in failure. Most people walk through life constantly haunted by the fear of what might go wrong. But those who rise above, the winners, the game changers, the legends, they only focus on what must go right. They don't feed doubt, they feed discipline. They don't see setbacks as the end, they see them as fuel. I'm here to tell you, when you only see your goals, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. You don't get distracted by noise, criticism, or even temporary defeat. You walk with purpose, you think in results, you act with relentless drive. Failure? That word doesn't exist in your dictionary. Because every time you fall, you rise. Every time you lose, you learn. And every time the world says you can't, you say, oh, watch me, you weren't made to be average. You were born with potential screaming inside you, waiting for you to believe in your mission so fiercely that quitting is never an option. Stop asking for permission. Start chasing your vision. Get obsessed with progress. Get addicted to becoming unstoppable. If your mind only sees the goal, the road will open. If your soul doesn't believe in failure, success becomes inevitable. So from this moment on, don't just dream. Lock your vision in. Don't just work. Work with obsession. Don't just hope. No. Know that your goals are yours and nothing can stop a mind that's made up because you only see your goals and you don't believe in failure. When you are chasing greatness, distractions are the enemy. If your eyes are always on the goal, negativity and noise fade into the background. Success doesn't come from multitasking your dreams with your doubts. It comes from single-minded obsession with your destination. Failure only exists when you stop trying. Every successful person has faced defeat, but what separates them is how they respond. If they respond, you must reframe failure as feedback, a lesson wrapped in difficulty. If you never give up, you never fail. You simply evolve. Confidence doesn't come from talent. It comes from consistent action. When you build habits that support your goals, you silence the voice of doubt. Show up, put in the work, and let discipline lead the way, especially when motivation fades. Obstacles are not detours. They are part of the path. When things go wrong, it's easy to panic. But winners pause, learn, and adapt. Every setback hides a lesson, and when your mindset is locked on progress, you'll use your lows to reach even higher. The world will have opinions. Friends, family, strangers, they'll all have something to say. But if you keep listening to others, you'll forget your own voice. Protect your energy. Guard your mind. Believe in your mission so deeply that no one else's doubt can shake it. People who dabble never win big. You need to be obsessed with your goal, not casually interested. Obsession means it's on your mind when you wake up, when you sleep, when you breathe, when you breathe. When you treat your dream like oxygen, failure becomes impossible. If you wait for someone to validate your dream, you'll be waiting forever. You don't need approval to rise. You don't need permission to start. The greatest movements began when someone said, I'm going whether you support me or not. You have to operate like success is a foregone conclusion. Move like your goal is already achieved and every step is simply catching up to that reality. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's certainty. It's knowing deep in your bones that what you're chasing was made for you. Chasing was made. When you are on a journey toward success, the most powerful weapon you have is clarity. Clear, defined goals act like a compass. They give you direction, urgency, and purpose. But here's the truth. Most people never achieve greatness not because they lack potential, but because they lose focus. They let distractions dilute their energy. They allow the opinions of others, their fears, and momentary temptations to pull them away from what truly matters. To rise above average, you must train your mind to lock in on your goals with tunnel vision. This means waking up every single day knowing exactly what you're working toward. It means filtering out the noise, the endless scrolling, the useless comparisons, the doubts, the excuses, and doubling down on what moves you closer to your mission. You don't have time to entertain negativity when your mind is full of purpose. You don't have space for distractions when your vision is crystal clear. Think about an archer aiming at a target. If their eyes are constantly shifting, they'll never hit the bullseye. Your life is the same. If you're constantly changing your direction, chasing trends, or giving energy to things that don't align with your purpose, you'll miss every shot. But if you stay locked in, if your focus becomes unshakable, success isn't just possible, it's inevitable. True greatness is built in silence, in sacrifice, in relentless focus. While the world plays, you plan. While they talk, you work. While they watch, you build. Because when your vision becomes your obsession, you don't just chase goals, you live them. Failure isn't a final outcome, it's a perspective. It only exists when you choose to stop. In truth, failure has no power over you unless you hand it your energy, your hope, and your belief. What most people call failure is often just part of the process. It's a moment, not a definition. It's a chapter, not the end of the story. When you adopt the mindset that failure is not real, you free yourself from the fear that paralyzes so many. You begin to understand that every setback is a teacher in disguise. Every mistake you make holds a lesson. Every closed door directs you toward a better path. The greatest champions, inventors, and leaders in history didn't avoid failure. They embraced it. They saw it as necessary, even valuable. Because through failure, you build resilience. Through failure, you sharpen your craft. And through failure, you get closer to mastery. Look at it this way. If a baby believed falling down meant they were a failure, they would never learn to walk. But they don't think that way. They fall. They try again. They fall harder. They get back up stronger. That's what real growth looks like. That's the mindset you must carry into your life, your dreams, your challenges. The truth is, failure is an illusion created by people who gave up too soon. It's the label used by those who didn't have the patience to stay the course or the vision to see beyond the pain. But if you shift your perspective, if you stop seeing setbacks as failure and start seeing them as feedback, you will never truly fail. You'll simply refine your path, adjust your strategy, and evolve into someone more powerful than before. In the pursuit of any meaningful goal, there will be days when your mind is clouded by uncertainty, when self-doubt creeps in and whispers that you're not good enough, not ready, or not capable. This is where most people stop. They wait for motivation to return, but motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like a mood. What separates the committed from the curious is discipline. Discipline is the ability to act regardless of how you feel. It's showing up when it's uncomfortable. It's choosing what's necessary over what's easy. When doubt shows up, discipline takes control. It says that we keep going anyway. It silences the inner critic by proving it wrong through consistent effort. Discipline is not about intensity, it's about consistency. It's doing the work even when the excitement fades, even when no one is clapping for you, even when results aren't visible yet. Doubt, on the other hand, is a parasite. It feeds off your hesitation. The longer you entertain it, the more it grows. But doubt cannot survive in an environment of action. It means turning down the volume on external opinions and turning up the volume on your intuition. Social media, gossip, doubt, envy, none of it adds fuel to your fire. If anything, it dims it. You must filter your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Sometimes the loudest voices come from within. The voice of fear, of self-doubt, of past failures trying to creep back in. But even that must be silenced. Because when you guard your focus, your goals become clearer, your energy becomes sharper. You no longer waste time proving yourself. You invest your time improving yourself. True greatness doesn't announce itself. It works in silence, in shadows, in moments where the world isn't watching. And when it finally emerges, it speaks so loudly that the same people who once doubted you are forced to listen. But that only happens if you protect the flame while it's still small, before the world tries to blow it out. There's a massive difference between being interested in something and being obsessed with it. Interest is casual. It's temporary. It's something you're excited about when it's easy, fun, or convenient. But obsession is a fire that never goes out. It's a force that drives you day and night. It's a state of mind where your goal becomes your identity. Not something you do, but something you live for. When you're merely interested, you show up when you feel like it. You work hard only when the conditions are perfect. You commit halfway and expect full results. But when you're obsessed, you show up whether it's raining or shining, whether you're tired or energized, whether people support you or not. Obsession doesn't wait for permission or ideal circumstances. It creates momentum through sheer will and laser focus. For new, obsession means your goals are constantly on your mind. You think about them when you wake up, during the day, and even when you go to sleep. Your vision isn't a hobby, it's the heartbeat of your life. And when others take breaks, rest, or doubt, you keep building. Not because it's comfortable, but because you've made a decision to give everything. Obsession transforms your work ethic. It elevates your standards. It turns average effort into legendary persistence. The world often labels obsessed people as too much, or a crazy. But the truth is, every extraordinary achievement in history was born from obsession. Athletes who train when no one's watching. Entrepreneurs who work through the night. Artists who spent years perfecting their craft. They didn't just like what they were doing, they needed it like air. They didn't balance their dreams with comfort. They sacrificed comfort for purpose. Obsession brings clarity. It cuts through distractions. It aligns your time, habits, and choices with one outcome. Results. When you're obsessed, you stop negotiating with laziness. You stop entertaining excuses. You become relentless, unstoppable, unbreakable, because your dream is no longer optional. It becomes who you are. If you wait for the world to approve of your dreams, you'll wait forever. Too many people hold themselves back, not because they aren't capable, but because they're seeking permission from their family, friends, teachers, society to rise. They wait for validation before they act. They wait for someone to tell them they're good enough, ready enough, or worthy enough, But greatness doesn't ask for permission. Greatness decides, declares, and moves, regardless of approval. The truth is, no one can give you permission to live your potential because no one truly understands your fire. Your vision wasn't given to anyone else but you. That means it's not their job to believe in it, it's yours. You were not born to fit into the limits others place on you. You were born to break them. And the moment you stop seeking validation, you gain freedom. The freedom to fail, the freedom to learn, the freedom to build something that doesn't make sense to anyone, except the future version of you who's already living it. Look around. Every person who changed the world did it without asking first. They didn't wait for perfect timing. They didn't wait to be picked. They picked themselves. They stepped forward when no one was clapping. They spoke up when others stayed silent. They moved when everyone else was standing still. Why? Because they believed in something deeper than approval. They believed in their purpose. When you ask for permission, you give someone else power over your destiny. You shrink yourself to fit into their comfort zones. You delay your growth to protect their opinions. But when you choose to act boldly, when you stand up and say, this is who I am, this is what I want, and I'm going after it, you reclaim your life. You stop waiting for someone to open the door for you, and instead, you build your own door. You have to understand that not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. Your dream is not up for debate. Your ambition isn't meant to be watered down to make others feel comfortable. If you want to be great, you have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to walk alone for a while. Because greatness often starts in isolation, fueled by belief, courage, and action no one else sees. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your mindset is to move from hoping to knowing. From wanting success to believing that success is already yours, even before you touch it. When you believe that your goal is already meant for you, your actions, energy, and confidence rise to match that belief. It's not about arrogance, it's about conviction. It's about conviction. It's about carrying yourself with the quiet certainty that what you're working for is not just possible, but inevitable. This level of belief changes everything. It changes how you speak about your future. You no longer say, if I succeed, you say, when. You no longer ask yourself, can I do this? You say, I'm doing this. You walk into rooms differently. You attack challenges with a different energy. You stop backing down when it gets hard because your belief tells you, this is already mine. I just haven't arrived yet. People often think belief comes after results, but that's backwards. The truth is, results follow belief. You must see the vision in your mind long before it shows up in your life. That's how every breakthrough begins, with someone who was willing to believe before there was any proof. They acted like it was already real, already achieved. And because they moved with faith, they built the momentum that turned belief into reality. This kind of belief fuels consistency. When you know your goal is meant for you, you no longer rely on external motivation. You don't need applause or recognition. You don't panic when things move slowly. You don't crumble when others doubt you. Your belief becomes your internal engine. It pushes you to do the work, stay the course, and outlast every obstacle. You move with patience, but also with urgency. You understand that your destiny is waiting, but only if you keep walking toward it without hesitation. Believing it's already yours means you stop questioning the process. You stop entertaining plan B. You stop doubting your abilities. Instead, you align your daily actions with the outcome you know you're meant to achieve. Every decision you make, every risk you take, every habit you build, it all starts flowing from a place of certainty. Because in your mind, you've already arrived. Now it's just about catching up in the physical world. So let the world talk. Let the doubts echo. Let the obstacles rise. Because you're not here to play small, shrink back, or seek permission. You're here to win. You're here to build, rise, and become everything you were born to be. You see your goals so clearly that nothing can blur your vision. You believe so deeply in your path that failure is no longer a threat. It's irrelevant. This isn't just motivation. It's your mindset, your standard, your truth. You only see your goals. You don't believe in failure. And because of that, nothing in this world can stop you.